Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. With your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Dennis Dick. I think Joel will be back tomorrow. I think so. Today's the last day with the two of us in the saddle, and wow, a lot going on here. We've got some rotation this morning. China stocks looks like they're giving back all those gains from a couple weeks ago now. Twitter, epic hacking. We'll talk about that. Earnings on our radar. Banks this morning. J&J this morning. Netflix after the close. A lot going on here. I'll bring Dennis on now. Jason Raznick will be our guest. He'll join us at around 8:40 or so today for the final 20 minutes of today's show. He's, of course, the founder and CEO of Benzinga. A lot going on here, Dennis. I don't know what you make of this market, but
it's a very confusing market. So obviously, buy the dips, sell the rip has still been working. We're going to continue to say that because yesterday, if you were coming in and buying stocks yesterday, you just had to be in stocks. You were wrong. We said it on the show when the S&Ps were trading, or SPY was trading over 322. And we're like, this is the day to book profits. Again, it appears that that was correct because you can see in certain stocks, they're holding up, but other stocks like, and especially anything Chinese here this morning is really getting slammed. But we're in rotation station. I mean, this is just, what this market is. And you're seeing some stocks trade higher here this morning. Believe it or not, you're seeing a tech wreck. And it's looking more and more like when we called the blow off top after the Tesla big move in tech, it's looking more and more like that was the case. I mean, Alibaba that day, obviously, there's news from China, so that's really slamming those stocks. But Amazon, we're going back to July 13th when everybody had to own tech stocks, and Amazon was up another 150 points, and then it turned around that day and closed red. That was the key reversal. Those are big technical days, and since that day, it's been leaking. Tesla, same story. It was up 250 points and came all the way back down, went red, didn't quite close red that day, so it wasn't a full, and it didn't exceed the range, so it wasn't a full key reversal, but it was a reversal. And you're seeing now money start to come out of that. So that was the blow off top, it looks like in Tesla. We're starting to see it now, and obviously Tesla trading down 70 points here this morning. So the tech trade got crowded. Does that mean it's over? I don't think it's over. I don't think the tech trade is over, but I think it's going to cool off here for more than a day. And you've got some people caught here and a lot of people banking that, oh yeah, it's going to bounce back. And we said with Apple, I said I'd be a seller if I still have a long-term portfolio. We're not talking investing here. People think I'm buying and selling my investing account. Not doing anything in the investing account besides buying, dips and adding a few stocks here and there. In the short-term trading account, though, in the swing trading account, if you were long Apple, yesterday was a fantastic selling opportunity. What an opportunity, because if you look at the chart, 399.82 was the blow-off top. 2 days later was down to 375. Bounces all the way yesterday up to 396.99, almost giving you another shot up there. Now it's back here at 386. Now you have the dreaded double top up there, which makes me feel like, hey, this tech rally wants to cool off.
Heading into earnings season too, interesting timing for the tech.
And that can change things too. I mean, the rotations can change things. Obviously, we get vaccine news and we know what that can do. But I mean, we had the great vaccine news from Moderna. And again, what is it? It's a selling opportunity. And mRNA lifted up, and we talked about it in the pre-market. It did get above the high, $87, and it did get above. It got to 88.37, but then they pulled the rug out from under it. And again, that trade has just been consistent, selling on the news when you've got a vaccine, selling the actual stock. And they get the big pop. They hang out there for a little bit. This hung out there for a few minutes after the open and then tanked. And now you're looking at it, it's almost given back its entire gain from the last 2 days, from yesterday, because you're trading down the 78 handle. AstraZeneca last night announced some news. Can you give us that news, Spencer? And I'll tell you how I traded this one.
Yep, this was out yesterday after the close. It was actually the same thing we talked about in the morning.
Yeah, it was already kind of expected, right?
So in the morning, there was a report from a British outlet that AstraZeneca was going to talk about this Oxford vaccine in the Lancet, which is this medical journal. They ended up talking about it yesterday after the close. They had a release, and they talked about the T cell antibody response. And so the news that was out yesterday afternoon was really already out yesterday morning.
So, and that's what I thought too. But last night they just could not stop buying AstraZeneca. And if you look at the after hours chart, it traded up the entire after hours session, 59, 60, and then it was trading the 60 and went over 61. And this is AstraZeneca. This isn't like a little Moderna. AstraZeneca is a huge company, kind of, the equivalent like a Pfizer over here. So yes, a vaccine can help, but is it, going to change their entire company and, putting on that kind of market cap? I didn't think so. So last night I was like, you know what? This is the kind of stock, and again, because it trades as an ADR over here, you have US traders trading a European company, and a lot of times, for whatever reason, the after-hours US traders don't know what the hell they're doing. So I was like, you know what? I don't think this is going to open up over 60 when it opens in Europe at 3 o'clock yesterday morning. So I shorted it last night at 60.40, and I come in, I got to my desk at 5:30, and I covered this trade down at 56.20. So I literally made over $4 on AstraZeneca, which is just an incredible move. And I mean, that's just the classic. I've got a lot of ducks in a row here. I think the move's overdone. Second, they've been selling the stocks when they had the good vaccines. Third, this stock already popped on that we knew good news was coming. So I thought all of it was priced in already. But apparently the after hours trader thought it was all new and they had to keep buying. They were buying with volume. Like you could have did, as many shares as you wanted last night. It was trading with size up there, all for 4 hours. And you come in this morning, and here it is. Now it's at 57.16, but like I said, it was lower than that this morning. At 5:30 in the morning, it was trading down the 56 handle. I actually got covered near the low there. I think it was like 56.15, somewhere in there. So, I mean, these are the opportunities that present themselves, and it's an inefficiency, really, is what it is. I see that often happen, when you have ADRs trading after hours, you've always got to be somewhat skeptical about the US action because one, a lot of times on lighter volume, and two, we're not the primary market. So you have, participants, US participants trading in a company on a vaccine headline. Oh, Algo's maybe trading it. And this company's primary market is over in Europe. So sometimes you have some mispricing. Last night, completely mispriced. And that was an opportunity for traders.
You just said something that was interesting. You said you had your ducks in a row, and we talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
You had more than one indicator telling you to do something, right? You had a few things that supported an argument.
My thesis
for going short, right? You had
my thesis.
Right.
My thesis was right away when the move happened last night and went from 58 to 60. I was like, didn't we talk about this on the pre-market prep show that we knew that there was good data coming? I'm like, so one, I feel like this news has already been priced in. So why in the hell are they rallying it again on the same news? And then the second thing is, like I said, I've traded ADRs before, and a lot of times they'll trade crazy in the after hours over here. And when they reopen in Europe, like I've seen Nokia, Kramer pumped Nokia once and Nokia popped 4%. I was like, Nokia is not going up 4% when it opens in Europe. It's one of the biggest companies in Europe there. And it opens the next day and it's actually down 1%. So I made 5% on that trade, just fading, fading US traders, that, after hours traders. And it's retail. It's a lot of people that don't know what the hell they're doing, because I don't think there's professionals that are buying Nokia up 4%, knowing how thick that stock is on no news. But, AstraZeneca is the same story. I've seen this story before where US traders go nuts on an ADR. It's not a little company. AstraZeneca. What's the market cap of AstraZeneca?
Let me pull it up for you in the handy dandy Benzinga Pro.
It's not small.
I'm seeing $140 billion.
It's a $140 billion company. And all of a sudden, it's tapping on another, whatever, $5 or $7 billion last night because of news that we already knew was coming. So I just figured I didn't think it's going to go to 63, 65. It's not like it's Moderna or a Novavax. It's not a small company. It takes a lot, to really, tack on market cap onto that stock. I would have been more of a seller even to yesterday's rally, but I never looked at it again when it traded up to 58. So I'm glad I didn't look at it because obviously trade a lot higher after hours. But once it got there, I was like, this move's just overdone. And we saw, multiple times where vaccine headlines get faded. And therapy headlines with Gilead get faded. And that's been working. And you know what? I see a trade work once. I take note of it. I see it work again. I was like, oh, okay, there's a pattern here. I've made some money. We know on the Gilead, I faded that multiple times. I've made some money trading and fading the big pops on these vaccine/therapy headlines. And it's worked. I mean, it doesn't always work, and you got to watch it on the smaller companies. But for the most part, and when you get the big pop in Pfizer, that day was the same thing. It leaked after that day. And yes, it's come up. It's had multiple headlines again, but we've had this rotation into value. I think the recent rally in Pfizer isn't so much the COVID drug that they're working on. I think and the vaccine that they're working on, I think it's just a rotation into value. Because if you look overall, all the big pharma has rallied in the last week. I mean, Merck isn't, got a drug working there, and it's rallied as well. So it's more just the rotation into value.
One quick thing on ADRs, if you don't know, it's just when an international company has its primary stock listing on a foreign exchange. In the case of AstraZeneca, it's listed in London primarily, and then they will essentially create a secondary pool, a secondary listing on a different one. In this case, on the U.S. markets, but you're not trading the primary market for AZN. The primary market is London. That's the primary pool of liquidity. You trade an ADR in the U.S. It's our way. It's a way for U.S. investors, and I guess Canadian investors too, to trade stocks that aren't listed in the U.S. That's an ADR. Real quick explanation. AZN.
The market's controlled.
Right.
Just think about this. The primary market is really controlled overseas. So when you're trading it, after hours AstraZeneca and buying up $3, you got to think, hey, the primary market is closed right now. And that's where the majority of your players are going to be. Exactly. Your AstraZeneca players are going to be over in Europe. So there's that potential. Usually liquidity is a lot less and it's flying around. And yes, maybe the positive headline is going to bring it up. But, and there was a headline, so it's always kind of scary. But I've done this with Sanofi, same way, where you get a headline, and Sanofi's a huge company too. And it pops up big time on the vaccine after hours, or some type of headline where it gets silly, and then when it reopens in Europe, they're not paying attention to what was happening over here. They're looking at this and saying, well, we kind of already had this priced in. So
exactly. So it's two different markets, but our market is dependent on their market.
Yes,
is the bottom line.
And when you're looking at the secondary market for primary pricing, you're asking for trouble.
And you can tell if you ever see the letters ADR, or in this case ADS, it means more or less the same thing. It just means it's an ADR. So this is not the primary market. Last thing on this, Dennis, you said you sold this morning at 56.20. Is that what you said?
Bought it back, covered it.
Sorry, that's right. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so I sold last night AstraZeneca $60, and I think it was 39. A couple trades, 60, 39, 60, 40.
So how did you, why there? Was that just?
It was getting close to the close. And I was like, I had it noted that I wanted to take it. I was letting the dust settle out. And I was like, you know what? I thought about it for about an hour. And I was like, you know what? I don't think this thing, I just said to myself, I don't think the thing opens up $3 in Europe. That's what I thought. I thought I've got $2.50 lead. I didn't think I'm going to make money, like, extra money that I was actually going to open down in Europe. I did not suspect that. But I thought, maybe it opens up $1 in Europe on this, and I'm going to make $1.40. And I'm making 4 points because the thing opens down almost, or actually, it opened down in Europe. Obviously, it opens for trading at 3 o'clock in Europe, 3 in the morning, but our markets aren't open till 4. But then, like I said, I got to my desk around 5, and you can see, it was trading around 56 then. And I covered in the low 56s. So, and you can cover easily. I mean, you don't have to worry about liquidity because the high frequency, you can thank the high frequency traders for the liquidity that they bring you on the ADRs, because they just price it out with the currency. So you'll see the ADR right now, if you bring up, it's 56.90, 56.93. That's just chasing the European price, because the European is a primary market. So if you, lift the bid, they'll make a penny on you. If you hit the bid, they're going to make a penny on you, and they'll just do the arbitrage with the stock and obviously the currency effects. It's the back mechanics to how that works.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here. There's a lot more to discuss. You want to go to Twitter, or you want to go to the bank?
Yeah, no, this is the story of the night last night. Yeah. And I got hit on this. I actually got hit because, I play a little bit of market maker after hours sometimes and on some liquid stocks. And I was like, oh boy, this is not a good headline. I turned around and sold, took the loss. So I bought it like 35.5, which is obviously not a good buy, but this Twitter hack had happened. And then I was like, I need to get the hell out of this. And I sold at 34.85. So I took a pretty good hit, but I'm glad I did, because it's 34.15 this morning. So again, I don't wait around saying, oh, what am I going to do? This is bad news. I'm getting the hell out. Now, I still own Twitter in my investment account. That was a trade. I own Twitter in my long-term account. I'm going to stick with that. I bought it, rebought it around $30 on the recent sell-off there back. Maybe it was even before that. I've been up and down with this. I guess I should start trading this thing more. As I think it was 30 and then with 35, and then back to 30 and back to 35. So I don't know if I'd coming in and buying more here now at 34.21, but I don't think this lasts. I agree with what Gene Munster was saying last night. I don't think this can be, one of those headlines that, slam the stock for a long time. But give us the details because it's very interesting. There's a lot of implications from this.
Probably the story of the year in the crypto world, maybe for Twitter as well. This is the biggest hack they've ever experienced, but pretty much near simultaneously yesterday, a number of, if you haven't seen it by now, a lot of high profile accounts got hacked with pretty much the same message. I'm giving away money. Send money to this Bitcoin address, and I will send money back to you. They hit people like Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Kanye West, Michael Bloomberg, Bill Gates. They got the Twitter accounts for Apple and Uber. They got the Twitter accounts for a lot of Bitcoin exchanges, Ripple, Gemini, Binance, Coinbase, so CoinDesk. So
wow,
massive hack.
Wow.
Just the profile of it, and it was, like I said, it was near simultaneous. It was sort of like whack-a-mole, right? Like one would pop up, they would take it down, and then there'd be another one, right? It was just like whack-a-mole a little bit there. So just a lot of big names got hacked last night. We really haven't seen. I mean, we've seen like Jack Dorsey get his account hacked before, but the last I had seen, there was about $120,000 had been sent to the Bitcoin address. I'm sure the number is way smaller by now because money's been transferred out of that. But yeah, just sort of an epic meltdown situation last night.
I mean, I have multiple thoughts here. One, how evil are people that they do this stuff intentionally trying to scam people? I mean, intentionally trying to steal people's money. I mean, it's just evil. But the second thing, obviously, is it's crazy that they can, get into a system that apparently has, obviously, Twitter, and break in and get these accounts and and do stuff like this. And then third, who's sending them the money?
That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, who actually believes this? I mean, I feel sorry for, the people who did it, but at the same time, I'm like, holy, that's, you get these in your email. You get these in your email every once in a while. It's like, oh yeah, send Bitcoin to da-da-da. I've had that show up, and like, it usually hits my junk mail. But it's some like a scam. It's like, oh, send or the one had my email address or something, and they had my password, and if I didn't send them Bitcoin, they were going to They were gonna send out all my contacts and do all that, and they don't have your password. I mean, it's just BS. But they're hoping that one person will send them Bitcoin, or otherwise they're gonna ruin your life because they have your email and your password.
A lot more than one person sent over money last night. I tell you that.
And that's very concerning. I mean, why would you ever think, oh yeah, send me $50 and I'll send you $100? Right away, that's a red flag. There's no such thing as free money. Okay, so everybody was listening. There's no free money. Yes, you can work for your money, and yes, some people make money easier than other people, but there's no such thing as just free money. Or, and arbitrage has even gone to the high frequency traders and taken all that all away in the markets as well. So if somebody's asking for $50 and they're going to send you $100 right away, it's probably a scam. So I feel sorry again, for the people that got scammed out of their money, but at the same time, man, that's dumb.
I'll just pull up the Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin is trading down this morning. Yeah, just a mess of a situation, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do they get it? Apparently, they got it through Twitter employees, essentially, who had access to the back-end systems. But yeah, just a mess. So this is not the first time there's been a major hacking. And every time there is, Dennis, you always look towards, you always have your train of thought. First thing you do, or one of the first things you do, is you look at cybersecurity stocks.
Yeah.
Right.
I would assume that they're going to be any FireEye's getting a pop here this morning. Full disclosure, I do have a position. I have a hedged position on because I'm long some of the other cybersecurity stocks, and this one really popped and got silly last night up to 1320. So I put this on against some of the other ones. I don't know how that's going to work out. But there's Palo Alto Networks. There's a whole pile of them out there. Yep. So 5 or 6 of them. I'm surprised most of them are trading down here this morning, probably just because we got such a tech wreck happening. Maybe that's overpowering it, but I'd keep an eye on those because, the cybersecurity stocks could catch a bid here after the open if they think, this is, an issue. But, apparently it's, and FireEye's happened a little bit here because Fast Money was specifically mentioned that stock, but I'd keep an eye on them.
Oh, is that it was the fast money? Is that why? I was wondering.
Fast Money mentioned it, yeah. And people are saying the hack ETF. You know what? I looked at the hack ETF. I looked at this before. Shockingly enough, it's a great ticker symbol and it's called the Cybersecurity ETF. But did you ever look at the components of hack?
Not recently.
Look at the components of hack. And it's like, it's really kind of not a cybersecurity ETF. Like here's your top components and you'll be shocked. Just if I'm going to go bring them up here. Obviously there's lots of places you can look this stuff up. Where is it?
Let's see if I can beat you to it.
You're beating me to it.
All
so the number one holding is Cisco.
Yeah.
CSCO. Is that a cybersecurity stock? CSCO?
Yeah. Yes and no.
I would say the majority of Cisco's business is not cybersecurity.
It's not a pure play for sure.
And then Cloudflare. Is Cloudflare? I don't think of Cloudflare when I think of cybersecurity. Do you? Is Cloudflare cybersecurity? Maybe it is.
Partly.
Is Cloudflare?
Partly. There must be some
of them. They must have some cybersecurity businesses. But Splunk's the number 3rd holding. Is Splunk a cybersecurity stock? They might have, but I always think of Splunk as cloud.
Yeah.
So is Splunk, and I'm sure they must have some cybersecurity stuff in there, or they wouldn't be in the ETF. But like I would think, if I was having a cybersecurity stocks, I would think like the FireEye and the Palo Alto Networks, which is the 4th holding. Fortinet. And full disclosure, I have a position on Fortinet. I would think like CYBR. I have that in my portfolio as well. But a lot of these aren't even in the top 10. So it's kind of weird. It's a lot of technology stocks, but there's a lot of stuff like Akamai Technologies is the 5th holding. Is Akamai like a cybersecurity stock? I don't think of Akamai as a cybersecurity stock. I think of that as another cloud play. So yes, they have some cybersecurity components in there for sure, but I don't think it's a pure cybersecurity stock. So anyways, I just challenge, that's a pure play, the hack ETF. Great ticker symbol, by the way, but the holdings there, maybe it's just some stocks have grown more than others. Maybe that's what the issue is, Spencer.
It could
maybe
be
they need to do some rebalancing because some of the pure cybersecurity stocks plays, like FireEye, isn't even in the top 10.
Yeah, CIBR is actually now the largest cybersecurity ETF by assets, but they've got a similar breakdown in the top 10. Broadcom's in there, Cisco's in there, Cloudflare's in there. So yeah, it is. They obviously all have exposure to the business, but it's more than that for a lot of these companies. So yeah, but worth keeping an eye on. We talk about trading events and catalysts, and this is a trade. This is an event, and there could be a trade. Not yet this morning, but could be a trade in hack and CIBR and all these names, CYBR, FireEye, Palo Alto, Proofpoint. So keep Fortinet, keep that on your radar. But yeah, definitely the news of the day for sure. This Twitter situation, a bit of a mess. Surprised they didn't get President Trump. That seems like the one they're missing. But Dennis, they didn't get you, did they? I hope not.
No, they didn't get me. I'm not verified. I think it was only verified.
Oh, we gotta work on that.
I know. I want to get verified. I actually looked and they said they're not doing any verification anymore or something like this. It's temporarily. Really? Yeah, it's temporarily suspended the program. So
they blame it on COVID?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I actually looked a couple of weeks ago. I was like, what's it take to get verified? And I clicked and it says, we're temporarily not, doing verified accounts or whatever. So I never thought about it again.
Okay.
But I don't know if it does any good or not, but a little blue check mark or whatever it is.
Should we talk just China here? I mean, it's so weak this morning. They're giving back all these gains. A couple headlines. Just a lot of microaggressions going back between us and them. That's part of it. The other part of it is they had GDP out, and the economy actually grew last quarter. The Chinese economy grew 3.2% on a year-over-year basis, which that makes them like the only global economy that can say that. So that's good, but apparently it's not good enough, and or the market was. I saw a couple quotes from people that the growth was all due to the government. It wasn't due to the consumer. Weakness in retail sales, weakness in auto manufacturing. So maybe people attributing growth in China to the government and not as much to everybody else, and also that combined with just the continuing escalation of tensions.
It's the tensions, I think,
Combined
that
with the
are,
fact that this move
yeah,
2 weeks ago, if you look at the FXI, I'll bring it up,
yeah.
that move seemed fishy from the get-go.
Well, it was a move that, hey, we need you guys, everyone in our country to buy stocks, like a government,
Yeah.
mandated like program, buy stocks. And, and you saw this huge move up and it's faded. It's faded significantly. Again, selling into that, rip, for the last, week and a half is proving to be fruitful here because all of these stocks are starting to come way back down to earth. So do they get interesting at a certain point? Like, for instance, I would say, does a JD.com start to look interesting here at 60? I'd say yes. I'd say, this is a stock that has been firing on all cylinders ever since COVID. It is a COVID play. Obviously, we know that sales have been escalating since then. It was in the gutter back in March and, obviously has had a huge run, but its trend's still up. 60 is a huge support level. I mean, if you're interested in starting to get into some Chinese plays, I think this is your opportunity. I think this is the buy the dip opportunity. I own Alibaba. It's the only one I own. I kind of follow Kramer's rule of thumb there. He likes Baba and none of the other ones, but I could see getting on board on a JD and some of these other ones too that have come down. I mean, if you're buying now at least you're buying, into the dip, which is what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, IQ, huge support at 22. What's it going to do there? It's been down there a couple of times. It's going to hold, maybe. BILI is another one, down $41. It's holding on, not bad here too. So 41.30 is where it's trading in the pre-market. So it's going to challenge the lows, the recent lows here. What do? Or if you just want to go overall and just go FXI, I mean, you're getting back the majority. Now it's trading 42.25. You're kind of in a whole gappy area.
Yeah.
Is it going to go all the way back down to 40? Maybe, but it was up at 45.93. So you're getting a pullback now. If you want to start nibbling, if you want to build a position in China, I don't think it's a bad day to do it.
I've been long KWeb, the Chinese Internet ETF, which has all these names and more. So
that's not a bad way to play it too.
Obviously down today with that, but same trade. I mean,
buy the dip, sell the rip. I mean, you're getting a huge dip in China. If you're putting some of these stocks on as trades and you've got yourself some, levels of support and you know where your out is, I can't argue with you. Or if you're a long-term investor, I mean, we've talked about this for a long time. And yes, there's going to be escalating tensions, and maybe that's a little bit of a scare but we saw escalating tensions between us and China for a long time.
Yeah,
and some of these stocks have actually held up okay considering all of that. I just think I look at China and they got nowhere for 10 years. So it definitely could be a catch-up trade in there eventually. I have a lot of emerging markets funds. I've talked about that before. I have some exposure to China just from an ETF perspective. And then I have direct exposure to Alibaba, the only Chinese stock that I own. I believe it's one of the only ones that I own directly. So yeah, I don't mind the buy the dip on the mentality on China today.
15-year chart of the FXI.
But don't think it's bouncing back. Like, China's already closed. So don't think it's going to bounce back on the FXI, over in an hour. This isn't like a bounce trade. It's going to bounce back in the next hour. But you're coming in here, and you've got a time horizon longer than a few weeks. I think it could be a buying opportunity. It could be wrong.
All right, 8:30 here. We're going to be joined by Jason in about 10 minutes or so. Let's do some earnings because half hour into the show, I've not done a single earnings report. We can go to the banks. We can go to J&J. Where would you like to
start? Let's start with the banks again, and let's start with Morgan Stanley because just incredible. And just before we go to the Morgan Stanley report, I just want to say what incredible trading action Goldman Sachs yesterday.
Yeah.
Because you get a report that they just killed it. They rocked it. And it's the same story. I mean, we see the same story. It was a JP Morgan, the same story too. They're rocking it. The stock trades up on their earnings, rightfully so. And then they just don't hold the gains. And for whatever reason, they just don't give the banks a pass. And maybe it's like we've said before, I think there's a lot of bankruptcies coming their way, but I don't see Goldman Sachs
there's more
as exposed as Wells Fargo. And the trading's killing it. So maybe they just say this is a one and done. And they're not going to be killing on trading all the time. And how's your other businesses? But they pulled the rug out from under, and Goldman Sachs gave it all back. And Morgan Stanley, same story, just killed it on the numbers. And it actually just came back to the green, but it was red for a while too.
Yeah, doing a whole lot of nothing here this morning. But anyway, the numbers for Morgan Stanley, Q2 EPS, $2.04 versus a $1.12 estimate. Sales, 13.4 versus $10.3 billion. How did they do it? How do you think? Trading revenue up 68% on a year-over-year basis. Investment banking revenue up 39% on a year-over-year basis. So same story as Goldman Sachs, same story as JP Morgan. Trading revenue carrying operations.
And they don't care. So it rallied up in the pre-market, up to over 52.5 on the initial report. And they're like, oh no, we know the playbook, that we turn around, we sell them on good earnings. I don't know what's going to take to get them to actually buy the banks and continue to buy them on good earnings. But this market hasn't cared about the bottom line for a long time. And yeah, they're, made a lot of money on the trading quarter. And yeah, their trading revenues were up in that, but they're looking at the banks, overall, and they're just saying not growth. There's no growth here. We're not interested. So they don't give them a pass again. And then there you are, and the stock's trading down, or it's trading, only up 25 cents. So you got to be disappointed. You're Morgan Stanley shareholder. You must think like, wow, what's it going to take to get the stock to go higher? They killed it. It almost reminds me of, like, remember Ford and GM when they were rocking out the earnings, a year ago, and they were killing it on the bottom line, and the stocks just would not rally. Maybe it was 2 years ago, and the stocks would not rally. And what's happened since then? So I don't know. I remain underexposed in the banks because I don't know how they could be doing better in some instances there. COVID quarter, kill it in the COVID quarter because your trading picks it up. But they don't give it a pass, and stocks, Goldman Sachs gives it back, Morgan Stanley trying to give it back. Maybe eventually they get some type of a rally. If we get vaccine, obviously that helps the banks, but for whatever reason, they don't give them a pass.
You don't know though. No one knows about their exposure. And so I think there's
that's the wild card. Yeah. And we've talked about that for a while, but I think of like Wells Fargo as a no touch. I'm thinking of Morgan Stanley and Goldman of being a hell of a lot less exposed than a Wells Fargo, but there's some exposure there.
Bank of America this morning following much of the same pattern as Citigroup the other day. They beat on their EPS and beat on their sales. Doesn't really matter though.
Doesn't matter.
Down about 3%.
Yeah, same story. It's a good quarter. Bank of America, I don't know if they killed on the trading or not. They have a little bit of trading, but I would think a lot less than Morgan or Goldman.
Yeah.
Anyways, doesn't matter. They beat. They rallied a little bit initially. They tried to rally it just a little bit, and they're like, no, we sell banks on earnings no matter what. And it's down 3%. So I've actually long a little bit. I just put it on for a day trade down here because I thought it could have a bounce, but it's not bouncing much. So maybe I'm gonna have to take that off. But anyways, BAC, I don't know what to say. The banks are just disappointing, the reaction to their earnings almost every quarter. It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Moving on here, Johnson & Johnson. We saw UNH report record revenue numbers yesterday. Johnson & Johnson also with a great report. Q2 EPS $1.67 versus $1.48 estimate.
Killed it.
Sales $18.3 billion versus $17.5 billion. And if the beat on the earnings weren't enough, they are raising their guidance this morning. They're raising their fiscal year adjusted EPS guidance by a quarter. $7.50 was the low end. That was the old low end. Now it's $7.75. They're raising their sales guidance for the year as well. The low end was $77.5 billion. Now it's $79.9 billion. So slight guidance raises for the year for earnings and for sales to go with what was a strong quarter. I mean, I guess it makes sense. We're in a freaking pandemic, record healthcare costs, record earnings for healthcare companies, but
150. I'll just say this is a huge level of resistance. It got up there yesterday, failed at 150.20. Pre-market got up to a little over 149, but they came in with their selling shoes on. It's run up $4, $5, $6 into the report too, so you could say a little bit of this had already been priced into the stock. Everybody kind of saying, hey, Johnson & Johnson's probably going to beat. They did. Surprise, surprise. And the market's just saying, well, we don't care. And they're knocking it down a bit. It's not down much. So, it's, again, this is a stock that if it dips significantly, I would be a buyer in. So I think you do have people, I don't think it's going to lose $4 or $5 here today, because I think people would come in and buy Johnson & Johnson if it was down $4 or $5, just because this company, it fires on all cylinders. It seems like in any type of market. So love the company. Not surprised that's not rallying significantly, because everybody knew it's going to be a good report.
Yeah. And then the big one after the close today, Netflix. High expectations. The company has said to expect 7.5 million new subscribers last quarter, but I've seen some numbers that are in the double digit millions.
They're gonna kill it. They're gonna like just think about their environment. It cannot get better. Their environment. I think they're going to rock the number. Does that mean the stock lifts on it? It probably does on the initial headline, but does it get faded? So, you know, trying to call almost the path of it. Does it pop 20 bucks on the initial headline? Because they're probably going to kill it. And then they pull the rug out from under it. Is it all priced in? Lots of question marks here. I almost want to go long it into the report and then sell it like 30 seconds after the report. But I don't know if I have the guts to do it. So I think they're going to kill it though, just because of the environment. But maybe obviously high expectations are in here too. So it's a tough one, really tough one.
I'm seeing implied volatility of 12%, I think. So,
oh wow,
at a 12% expected move in either direction.
I don't think it's moving 12%.
Okay.
I'd be fading that. I don't think there's 12% move. So I think there's a play to sell that straddle. So I don't think it's going to be 12%.
We talk about earnings in relation to what the stock has done leading up to earnings, and the bar is so high. The bar has never been higher for Netflix.
It's very high, but I think they're going to come in higher than the high bar. So I think they're going to crush the number. The question is, will the market still not care anyways?
That's what I mean.
I don't know. The reaction is unknown. I do think you're going to get an initial lift because there's going to be a headline jaw dropper number, I think, here. So I'm almost inclined to take a flyer on it, just small, speculative, high risk trade. Take it in through the report and then try to sneak out of it, 30 seconds after reports on the news algo that's going to buy the hell out of the headline. But that's a really high risk play. So if I was to do that, it would be on very small size because I don't want to, be wrong and lose 50 bucks. So, but they're pricing in a 60-point move in this thing. If it's 12%, that seems like a significant move. I don't think it moves 60 points.
Are there any stocks that traded with Netflix? Maybe Roku?
Yeah, Roku will. And that's a good point, Spencer. We love our relationships on this show. And obviously Roku has been back into favor here for a while. So yeah, keep an eye on Netflix. If you're trading Roku, Netflix blows it away and continues to go higher, Roku will get a lift. So you're absolutely right. Roku will trade off of Netflix.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is the first of the big tech reports. So we'll be watching this closely today. One more. Let's do Domino's Pizza here since they were out this morning as well. Kind of forgot about that one. But Domino's reported Q2 EPS of $2.99 versus a $2.21 estimate. So they beat that number. Sales, $920 for $909 million. So a beat for Domino's. In the second quarter, their comps at stores that they co-own were up about 17% year over year. International comps up 1.3%. So that's same store sales is essentially that number. Yeah, the restaurants were all closed for not that anyone dines in at Domino's, but good quarter.
Crushed it. They crushed the quarter again here. Doesn't matter. This is the stock again. It was all priced in. I mean, it had run up into the report. Everybody expecting to crush it. We ran up 17 bucks yesterday. And if we look in the last 3 days, went from 380 to 420. So you're talking about a 10% move ahead of the report. The bigger money's made just buying these things sometimes just ahead of the report when you know the expectations are going to be good. And then you get the report and yeah, it's good, rah, rah, rah. And the news algo buys it up and then there's no other buyers. And it starts to leak, and now it's in the red. So you're like head scratcher, like, how is Domino's Pizza trading down on that report? Bottom line, all the expectations were high coming into it, and everybody who wanted to be in it was already in it.
Yeah. All right, 8:40 here. Jason Raznick will be joining us in a couple of moments. Hey, let's talk about Dell here.
Dell. So this is a head scratcher too.
Yeah. So
we're trading on the same headline that we already knew and traded on, and they're ripping at 10% on it.
So that gap on that chart that's right there, that was from whatever day that was. I don't remember, but
going back to June 22nd or whatever it was.
That gap was a report that Dell is looking to potentially spin off. Or
that was the rumor.
Somehow, it was a rumor that they were going to somehow exit their stake in VMware. Well, same headline. Dell just confirmed it yesterday that they're exploring a potential spinoff. They
rally at 10% again.
Yeah, they own 81% of VMware. They're trying to sell that.
I own Dell. I've owned it for a value play for years. It has been a perennial underperformer. It has done nothing. I'm actually back up in the trade now. I think I bought around 55, ran to 70, and it's just been a dog of all dogs. I've bought it because I've always said that their VMware stake is worth more than the whole bloody Dell company is valued at. So when they spin it off, I mean, VMware is a good company, and Dell, like you're getting it for nothing. You're actually getting Dell at a negative value. And yes, there's some debt there, but they're going to try to do the tax-free spin out. They got to wait till September of 2021 to do it. It's such a windfall here for people who had overnight. I tend to think that this is going to fade. I do think long-term, there's a lot of value in Dell. That's why, part of me says, let's sell it here at 58 today and rebuy it at 53 when it gives it back here in 2 weeks and everybody forgets about this again. But then the other parts of me says, I think the stocks were $70 or $75 when it finally decides to spin it off. Yeah. So that part of me says you've been holding for 2 years, don't sell it, and then it starts to continue to go up on you, and then you miss the boat you've been waiting for the whole time. So I don't know. As a trader, I would sell it. As a long-term investor, there's still a hell of a lot of value here in Dell.
Yeah, just a weird
lot of value.
Just a weird headline. A weird move.
It's a weird move because it already had this move, and then it faded it. So we've already seen this play out. That's why I tend to think it probably fades again, and it's already off the highs. It was trading up in the 59 handle. I think we look at Dell. Another week it could give it back, but is it justified? I think it should be up here. I think it should be up. I think it should be a hell of a lot higher than this. But now you got to wait over a year for the spinoff. But so maybe we put this on our calendar to rebuy this in August when it starts to come closer to the time when they can actually spin this off. But they're going to spin it off, VMware, and it's got they own 81% of the company, so you can quickly do a market cap fix on that and figure out what that Dell's worth, and it's worth a hell of a lot more than it's trading for. So anyways, that's my thoughts on Dell. Love the value, but it's a big move too fast, and it's a year out. It probably gets faded. Talking against my book. Only person on the street that does that.
Yeah. Real fast before Jason, if you're trading Norwegian Cruise Lines this morning and you're seeing it's down, what gives? Common stock offering, $250 million offering they announced this morning. So there's your headwind this morning for Norwegian Cruise Lines, raising money, I guess, while they can.
It's always a good idea. Raise money while you can, not when you have to.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring on our guest here now. I hope he's ready. If not, then I guess he'll join us when he's ready. But Jason Raznick is the founder and CEO of our company, Benzinga. Jason, are you ready? Good morning.
I'm ready, but I had a leak this morning, guys. A bad leak. I don't know if you could see the bowl up there. I come down, I hear it drizzling.
What's going on?
Oh, no.
I don't freaking know. I had to move the books. I had to move the shoes.
Call the roofer.
Dennis Rodman's shoes were basically almost ruined.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. As long as the Gretzky jersey is intact, we're okay, though. Don't let the Gretzky jersey get wet.
And my wife is out of town, so I wake up to like a leak in here, and it was yes. And I yelled at the kids, "Go get me towels!" Like I need a dry, so they bring me little rags. I'm like, guys,
I need a towel.
Yeah, like I need a towel. I mean, it was drenched down here. My wife's like, maybe let it run so we can get whatever. But
did you find the source of the leak, or is it still leaking?
It is.
He's like, I think it's still leaking, actually.
That's not part of my protocol was to stop my computer from getting rained on and moving the shoes. The rest, I put a bowl. If the bowl fills up, I got another bowl. I can't
call the roofer.
Yes,
actually, and sometimes you think it's the roof, and then you just got to follow it because sometimes it's a pipe.
Wait a minute.
In my case, I had this happen to me, Jason, about 6 months ago. I'm like, my basement, like, why is there water in my basement?
Yes.
And it's in the middle of the basement. It's not like, it's coming in through the wall. And then I follow it up, and I follow it all the way to my shower. And my kids, the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, I let them just have a shower in there. And we have a wand. We have the wand on the thing. And they actually had pulled on the wand so hard that they cracked it. So then when they turned on the shower, 90% of the water was coming through the head still. So I didn't notice that there was a problem, but 10% was going down the wall. So every time they have a shower, 10% go down the wall. So if you have if you have young kids, check first, where they go.
That's right. I think it's the shower of something. And yeah, that's the story. But guys, this is so strange. It is Thursday, and I'm here. I usually come on Friday.
Yeah, what's going on?
Spencer Israel changed it up. I'm not totally sure why, but I will accept it because he likes to mess with me all the effing time. You guys know that. Cuts me off. He rides me. He calls this out. So I'm here Thursday. So if it's not as good of a show with me, my body, my brain is not mentally prepared yet. So I'll do my best. today is definitely an interesting stock day. I mean, you have these up days and you have a down day, and everyone's, you know, worried. It's raining here in Detroit, Michigan. And so, yeah, I'm a little down. I'll be honest. I'm a little down. I mean, Spencer Israel said, I need to have a Red Bull. I talked to him at 6:30 this morning. He's like, Jason, you're not feeling it. We need you to get energy. So, Spencer, I took your advice and I had 2 Red Bulls. Okay. So now
Did not say I have 2 red.
He's hopped right up here now.
yeah, but I'm still a little, you know, sad about the market right now. But I think, I know, I'm Pollyanna. I think we're going to see a little bit of rally today.
I hope that it's been the play. I mean, we rally 300 points, you do some selling. And we fall 300 points, you do some buying. It's buy the dip and sell the rip. So obviously the headlines overnight is China's really brought down our markets, the FXI trade
Stream, and we're going to see if this does the trick, because we're having some lagging issues on YouTube. We do have parts for a new computer have been ordered, and I believe some of them are in, and we're having a new computer built for me to host the show. So this will not be an issue. I suspect it's a hardware problem, but we should be back up now. I think that may have done the trick. I see a good connection.
Nothing changed on my side.
No, I heard everything just normal, but
right. No, I know, because I didn't drop you guys off of Zoom.
All right, so we're back. We're
back. Everyone, I just
gave the best rant ever, guys. I was fighting with Spencer Israel. We punched each other, and then I gave my stock picks. Did you guys hear me?
You gave them all when you guys were offline.
All I did was I just reset our stream, everyone. So I think we're back. I apologize for the hiccups, but I don't see any buffering. Everyone chat saying we're all good. We're good. Jason, I don't know what you were saying, but
I got to talk to Marmel. Yeah, Mark, because she knows I'll say no. So she's like, yeah, but no. If I save the day, then no insurance company. So we'll see. We'll see how bad the damage is. I don't want to look, Marmel. Thank you. What I did say is Yeti, Generac, Whirlpool have been performing well. I said those picks on the pre-market show prior to buying those. I can tell you the date. We can find the clip. Scott, you can tag it. Scott's one of the video people. Whirlpool is up 85%, and Generac is up 189%. And these are just the calls. Dennis was talking about the tech trade, and it could be fading a little bit. If you look at Apple, Dennis, it's literally just climbed up the stairs for the last 3 months. I mean, just
been too easy for the longs. It's been too easy. So it's going to be some rough roads ahead, I think, for Apple.
Yeah, and so
still long it myself, but I'm sticking with it. But
so am I.
But nothing goes straight up like that. I mean, that stair, like that's just so 220. It's basically doubled in a straight, Jeff Mackey purple crayon, like fashion. It just isn't usually that easy. This was that easy. This one. That's why I mean, the trend's your friend until it's broken. And you could have priced it at 360, at 380, at 390. I'm not saying come in here and short the stock, but if you got on for a trade, maybe it's time to ring the register on a little bit.
Yep. Now, and yeah, hit the like button for Spencer supercomputer, or donate money for Spencer's computer. It all
that would be good.
Supercomputer is coming in.
Yeah. Wait. So I gotta remember Delta that I was on the show that I said I was going long, and I'm just going a long time. Yeah. So yesterday it had it moved up a bit. My call options are down 34%, but they were down 60% as of yesterday. Now they're down 34%. So coming back on Delta, I want to be fair disclosure. I want to if I'm down, I want to tell you. Mastercraft, MCFT, staying long. Flare Systems, FLIR, I'm staying long.
I'm in the floor with you now too. I rebought it. I couldn't stop myself. So I bought that about 3 days ago with all these lows in the 39, 30 areas. I got a nice level to lean on. So I'm going for it. So I'm in the floor with you now too.
Oh, I think we have a surprise. Are you bringing me a computer, Aria? Come on. Oh, no. All right.
It's bringing towels.
No.
More
change in the bucket.
Wait a minute, Dennis.
The water boy.
Dennis, didn't you do roofing? Can't you go fix his roof for him?
Yeah, no, I did actually from way back. But he thinks it's the shower. I didn't do plumbing. I did roofing.
It's raining and he's got a leak. I bet you it's the roof.
Close the door.
Probably, yeah. If it's actually raining there, Jason, it probably is.
It's raining. It's raining and it's leaking.
It is raining.
It's usually not a coincidence.
Dennis did roofing. You just go over there.
Send me over there, yeah.
Because you can't cross the border. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to cross the border though. I'll say it's essential though. Jason Raznick's roof is leaking. He needs me to go fix his roof. This is essential services here.
Yeah, the reason the guys I hate rain is the reason that Dennis and Spencer must hate rain as well. You guys all know what it is.
Because your roof leaks.
Nope. There's 3 things. There's one thing in common that Dennis, Spencer, and I all have. Why I hate rain. Who's the first one to guess it on the thing? And you'll get a free Benzinga swag from the new store that we have launched. Benzinga shop or something. If you,
Yeah,
you guys know what we have in common, Dennis, Spencer, and I. The reason that Lord Jam, you won glasses. Lord Jam, I owe you some swag from the store. Neil, I need the name of the store so they can look at it. We have.
I've got it for you. I've got it for you.
So I owe Lord Jam swag. Yes, we had glasses, and the problem is when it's raining, your glasses get rain on them. You need windshield wipers. So that's the story on that one. Hide your tear. Okay.
I just put the link to our as Jason says, the swag store in the YouTube chat.
Why can't it be a hyperlink, Spencer? It really annoys the crap.
Yeah, it's a YouTube thing. Anyway.
I'm giving Rohan. I give stuff away. When the store is fully functional, the links are working, I give stuff away. And here's wait, I have to get 2 more stocks because I'm doing too much bloviating.
What do you got? What'd you buy in the last week? Talk to us.
Yeah, that's what I need. Exactly. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for reining that in. So I bought more GAN, G-A-N. I bought more at 22.10. This morning it had some positive news in New Jersey on sales. GAN and the symbol is G-A-N.
I like that one too.
It's my casino sports online gambling play.
Yeah.
So I bought more of that, and I'm definitely too long that. So I was on margin for
too long. Don't get margin called there.
I didn't get margin called, but I was 25% margin as of a week ago. I'm down to like 16% margin. And I'm doing it because I'm trying to catch up to guys like Dennis, you know? Like,
that's not how you do it.
that's how I'm doing it, Spencer. How do I do it? Dennis?
Actually, I will say that Jason's employing the same tactic as the California CalPERS, the state pension fund. They're also using leverage to catch up. So
they are? Wow.
Yeah.
So
how do you do it?
That's how you do it, I guess.
Think about it. You guys know I've been buying Tesla all the way up. If I would have gone more margin on it, I mean, I would be, I could add that 0 onto my account like Dennis. And so I
wish I would have had Tesla all the way up.
So anyways, I told you about GAN. Yep. I bought a small stock. I don't know if I should say it. I probably shouldn't. Let me see it. Let me see.
Well, before you say it, is there going to be news?
Yeah, is it another Expo? Are you predicting a headline?
All right. So
he's psychic, man. He predicts the headlines.
Well, listen, I don't know. There's no prediction on this one. It's a $183 million market. It's not terrible. Here's the concept. We had them on our cannabis hour. It's at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., which is like BZ cannabis hour. It's called TerraSend. They're on our show. The CEO said, stuff that I liked. I'll give you the symbol in 1 second. I just don't want people to look at it yet. And I liked what he said. I have no inside info. I got nothing ahead of time. Well, he's on the show. I didn't even buy the stock then. I bought the stock the next day or that night. I forget which time when I bought it. The symbol, it's an OTC. That's why I'm like hesitant, but TRSSF. TRSSF. I liked that they did a private placement of $30 million in May. And then they had, positive cash flow earnings. And in the cannabis space, that's not too common. And so I think in the show, I talked about, earnings and revenue growth and all that stuff. And they know that the markets value earnings these days. So I like that. And I'm not too invested in the market in the cannabis space because Benzinga's business, we do a lot in the cannabis space in terms of content and all that. So I'm already feel like I'm invested. But I did buy this TRSSF. And I didn't buy it big time. It's a small
speculative play.
Totally speculative play. It just happens to have gone up 10% since that day.
You're a genius. How'd you know?
I'm a genius.
Yeah.
So that's Spencer saying I'm a genius and then really thinking he's an idiot. Okay. But
putting words in my mouth.
I know, Spencer. I told you I'm going to do it, buddy. You're not. I'm going to do it. So yeah, TRSSF is up 13.9%. So I told you, I bought more of that GAN. I bought TRSSF.
You've talked about GAN for a while, and you were trading GAN for a little bit. It ran up. I actually was in GAN. I sold it. I kind of want to rebuy it. So I'm kind of with you. I'd lean, where I'm looking is that 21.75 low. That's a nice little low to lean on there now. It's up here this morning, so I'm not sure if there's a headline or something because everything is down this morning, but GAN is up.
There's a headline. New Jersey, their sales. So we're going to bring on, we don't have them committed yet, but Spencer or I'm going to work on
getting the GAN CEO on. I want to understand it more. So some of these stocks, guys, that I buy, I know you guys trade them quicker. You're more technical. I'm more fundamental. And I want to know is if sports gambling gets bigger in New Jersey, how does that affect gambling? I want to know that. I want to understand the mechanics. Remember the thing that I always say in the show, Dennis, the thing behind the thing.
I like that.
No, Spencer doesn't like the grammatic, sounding of that.
I like it.
The thing behind the thing, and that's GAN. And I said Generac I bought more of. Lithium, I'm just hanging on to. I saw someone just ask in the room.
I'm in with you. You tell me, you let us know when you sell, because I'm in the lithium because of you. This is your pick, LTHM.
You know what? That's another, Spencer, it's another one we should probably try to get the CEO on, because it's not my pick. It's Gene Munster's pick.
Yeah, I love Gene Munster picks. Gene Munster knows how to pick them.
Yeah, he does. And so that's no doubt. And then one more thing. I want to make sure you guys heard me. I'm long Eli, ELY. I'm playing it as an earnings play for the golf club trade. And I hope it's right. The stock is up in my account. Again, on the show, it's up 10.
You were around 15 when you were talking about it.
Yeah, it's around 15. And your GAN thing, you're right, Dennis. It went from like 16 to 23 back down to, or 25, then back down to 19, 18. And I got a little, when I saw the huge gain, then it went down to 20. I'm like, hey, I want to sell a little bit. So I sold 15% of that GAN. And I want to understand it more, because I think GAN could be a situation where it's a big long position, like how I did my Tesla. And Yeti, YETI, Spencer, when are earnings? Let me go check that out. Benzinga Pro, what did you say?
For Eli, it's not confirmed yet. For Yeti, is that what you asked?
Yeah, I would love to know.
August 6th, before the market opens.
Wait, I don't know if it's, where are you seeing that, on our site?
That's in Benzinga Pro for Yeti.
Okay. I also see July 30th somewhere. I hope it's August 6th.
Not for Yeti, no.
You see Yeti's August, okay?
Yeah.
All right, that's good, Spencer. I'm gonna get E-Trade all messed up then. Okay, cool. So Yeti, August 6th. I'm holding Yeti through earnings. I mean, I don't know how it doesn't destroy earnings, honestly. Destroy. I've never seen more Yeti stuff ever. It's like that same trade with Peloton, Dennis. I was so confident on it. I've done the same research on Yeti that I did for Peloton, and I bought Peloton from 28 down to 21, Dennis. And now it's at 60, whatever. So I mean, if Yeti does not destroy earnings, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Honestly,
it's been on a hell of a run. That's the only thing.
I don't care.
Is it all priced in? Is the question now, because we went from $15 to $44 here in 3 months. So he's talking about stocks up 200% in 3 months. So it's had a big move. Can that move continue? That's the question.
Well, so two things. Yes, guys. This day is not like any other days, because I'm usually on Fridays. My brain is not.
People are like, what the hell is going on? Is it Friday?
My body is messed up. Spencer Israel called me at 6:30 in the morning to prepare me. He's like, Jason, don't forget it's Thursday. And, and I'm like, Spencer, I just don't feel it. I need my Friday. My body's used to it. Friday morning, PreMarket Prep show, and we kick ass all together. But he said, Jason, have a Red Bull. And I said, no. And then I had 2 Red Bulls. That's where you see the energy now. And I'm trying to bring it. But listen, we have a down day, so we got some things we got to fight through here. We got to fight through it, but we got to find good companies and be careful. Like I don't want anyone to over leverage stuff. When I say I bought that TRSF, whatever, that doesn't mean for you to go out there and buy a bunch of it. Like if I had a crystal ball, I mean, the closest crystal ball I had was on New York Times and Peloton in the last 4 months, I would say. Express Spot people would say too, but New York Times and Peloton are ones I went super long on. Express Spot I didn't, just being honest. But I try to do things conservatively. I talk about margin, and people like freak out when I say it. I treat margin very conservatively. So I sell it off very frequently. I usually don't go into the weekends with too much margin. And I used to not have any margin. But what I'm trying to do right now is catch up to Dennis. And I have to work. And so think about this. If I was running a track race, right, and I want to beat someone who's really a fast runner, well, how am I going to do it? There's only a few things. I got to work out a lot more. I got to do this more. I got to do this. And then there's things that give you added advantages. I could add SpaceX boosters on my feet. I mean, that would help, right? So that's my margins.
This is one of the weirdest tangents.
That's
a good one, though. I like it.
I don't know where it's going. I'm lost.
I don't know where he's going. So I'm going to end this show. I'm going to end this.
Spencer's about to cut me off again, guys.
I'm going to end this.
How does Joseph Linear Fish know that? Yeah, I mean, You guys, okay, maybe next week I'm going to bring out the screenshots of when Kramer called me a little kid, and when Amazon was at $76 and I said it's a buy because they're diversifying and they're cutting, the AWS, and him and Doug Cass ripped the shit out of me way back when. I have it as a screenshot. And by the way,
we love Doug Cass. Doug Cass been on our show. Did you know that?
I love Doug Cass too. I'm just
not recently.
Kramer and Doug Cass ripped me like into tear, and I sold it. I'm like, all right, they're smarter than me. They're way older and yada yada. And Kramer, they're whatever. But the thing I was going to say, I did say the S word maybe twice this show. And you know why? Joel wasn't here to yell at me. Spencer just yells. Spencer yells
loud.
Spencer yells at me about having more energy, and Joel yells at me about language.
Passing.
So, and then my wife yells at me about it.
Try to keep it PG-13. So.
And then my wife yells at me about everything else. So, hey, guys, I still want to do that golf outing before the end of the year, but I don't know. This Corona thing I really want to get everyone together. This community, this pre-market prep community, Dennis, Spencer, Joel, the community is so strong, so amazing. I know we're ending right now. We appreciate everything you guys do. We also very much appreciate the feedback you've been sending. Dennis, Joel, Spencer are hard at work on some new ideas and some more organized like rituals in the show, just like some fun little things. And you may not like it, you may like it, but they're gonna test it out. So we do appreciate it. My email is jason@benzinga.com. And the one thing I really do appreciate is if you go to your online brokerage and tell them they should add Benzinga News to their service, I could be more thankful for that. And we are going to do swag giveaways. We're getting the store is almost ready to really be going. Neil Hamilton's our guy on that. But just love you, Dennis. Love you, Spencer. Love you, show. And again, we're all here for each other. Be kind to one another. And let's keep conversing. And you can follow me. Thank you. Michael, thank you. We anything you can say to your brokerages help us get Spencer Israel a supercomputer. And I agree. He should have a supercomputer. I totally agree. And so should Dennis. What'd you say?
Some of the parts are here.
I know, but like you guys, you guys, our vision for what this community can do is so big, you don't understand. And we have to bring money to pay for that vision. We don't like raising money because then you dilute everyone. And it's a whole mess. And you have all these people who can tell you what to do. And then we can't do this stuff. To be honest, we would have had to cancel the show 2 years ago and say, oh, this is not making enough money or this. We don't like doing that. We like to march to our own drummer. So any support you can do and telling your broker that you love Benzinga News does help us. And keep sending the feedback. The feedback emails pre-market at, no, it's, what is it?
That's right.
Pre-market at benzinga.com. And if you have anything individually you wanted to send me, I'm Jason at benzinga.com. And if you are hearing this, please send it like in bullet points or like a short, anything over 150 words. It's really hard for me to read because I guess I'm not a good reader.
I'll read it and translate if it's longer. But any piece of feedback. Someone tweeted at us yesterday that the button, the pre-market button on the new webpage was too small. They couldn't find the show. We love that stuff. Any sort of feedback helps us. We appreciate the good, the bad.
Did we fix that?
Yep. Talked to Bert, head developer, and he said it's in staging.
Anything you guys see, anything you want us to do, any tool you use that we don't have or don't do, tell us. We're here for you. Dennis doesn't do this for just shits and giggles. He does this because he wants others to learn from his experience. Kathy Woods, I can get Kathy Woods all day. Who said Russell Red? I can call her right now. How do you know Kathy Woods? Ark Invest, that's my girl, my buddy. I hung out there for a whole afternoon in Detroit. If you want Kathy Woods on, you name the day and time, she'll be on. Yes.
Right. I'll talk to you about that because I'm on one of her funds. So I would love to get her on and talk.
Love to get her on. I could call her right now and put her on the phone right now and she'll answer.
Live right now.
She's in California. It's 6 a.m. That's not.
I guarantee she saw Jason Raznick's calling her, the one and only. Yes, I'm joking when I said Jason Raznick. Don't bring
her right now.
Person. But Dennis Dick, you guys know when Dennis Dick calls me, he called me 2 days ago on the phone. He just refers to himself as Dennis Dick. Dennis Dick is calling you because we want to talk about Tesla. Dennis Dick. So I used to Jason Raznick on myself. Dennis does it all the time. He always refers to himself as Dennis Dick. Right, Dennis?
That's how you do it.
Yeah, I just did. All right. Well, guys, she's not going to hang up on me. I guarantee Webcoin. You want to put money on that? She will answer the call. I don't care. It's 6 a.m. She is my friend and my good friend.
All right. Jason Raznick is the founder and CEO of our company, Benzinga. You can email him, as always, jason@benzinga.com. Jason, thanks for hanging out with us.
Love you, Dennis. Love you, Spencer. Have a good day. And I'm missing Friday. I don't know why you cut me off on Fridays. It's a new change. I don't
know. But
Fix that leak.
Cut him off.
Yeah. All righty.
We'll
On
fix
that-
that.
Yep. On that note, that'll be a wrap for
It's
us.
like tradition. He
Thanks
cuts
for
Jason
hanging out.
off.
Yep. Everyone, you can catch a replay of this show on YouTube or on our podcast. We're on every major podcast platform. As I mentioned, as Dennis leaves, that's okay. Send me an email, premarket@benzinga.com. And please remember, all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Please hit that like button. We appreciate it. Everyone have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you on Friday morning, I believe, I hope, with Joel Elconin. Have a good one.